Then, one faithful sunny Sunday afternoon, I sat on my couch, scrolling through Facebook because I was bored. Suddenly, my phone rang. It was a number I didn't recognize, and the moment I heard the voice on the other end, a chill ran down my spine. The voice on the other end was faint, male. "Alowan," he said slowly, his voice weak and broken. "It's Adrian. Please get ready. My driver is on his way to pick you up. I need to speak with you. Please." Then the line went dead. My heart dropped. It had been over 6 months. I thought I would never hear from them again. Why now? Why him? I grabbed Hope. Yes, I named her Hope because that's what she was to me. After being abandoned, losing my mother, and crying myself to sleep more nights than I could count, she was the only light I had left. She was the reason I got out of bed, the reason I didn't give up. Holding her reminded me that something good had come from all the pain. I ran with her to Mrs. Kadiri's house. She was sitting in her living room, her glasses perched low on her nose, as she read from her well-worn devotional, lips moving slowly like she was whispering prayers to the wind. I told her everything, how Adrian had called, how his voice sounded, how terrified I was. She listened quietly. Then she reached over and gently squeezed my hand. "You've been carrying this fear for too long, Elawan. It's time to face it. Go. But go with a calm heart. Whatever happens, remember, God did not bring you this far to leave you now." I nodded, hugging her tightly. I didn't know if I was walking into a trap or a blessing, but I had to go. The black SUV pulled up an hour later. The driver didn't speak as he drove. My hands were clammy. My thoughts raced. Hope slept peacefully in my arms. When we pulled into the gated compound, the door opened before I could knock. And there he was, Adrian, sitting in a wheelchair. His face was pale and thin, cheeks sunken slightly, and his eyes, once so proud and full of plans, now looked tired, but alive. "Elowen," he said, his voice cracking with emotion. "Thank you for coming." I just stood there, frozen. He gestured for me to come in. "I don't even know where to begin," he said quietly. "You can start with why you left me," I whispered. "Why you left her." He bowed his head. "We didn't mean to. But first of all, I'm so sorry for your loss, Elowen." He told me everything. He and Celine had gotten into a terrible accident on their way back from a business trip. A truck had lost control. Celine died instantly. Adrian was pulled from the wreckage barely alive. He was in a coma for 3 months. I sat there, stunned. "No one contacted me because no one knew," he continued. "We kept the surrogacy a secret. Even our families didn't know. We were afraid of judgment. We just wanted a child." A lump formed in my throat. He looked at Hope, who was still sleeping. "She's beautiful," he said, "and you took care of her, all alone." I nodded slowly. Mrs. Kadiri, my next-door neighbor, and her children helped. Without them, I don't know what I would have done. "You probably named her, didn't you?" he asked quietly, his voice still thin but steadier than before. I smiled faintly. "I called her Hope, because when everything around me was falling apart, she was the only thing that kept me going," I said. Adrian blinked rapidly, then nodded slowly. "Hope," he whispered. "I love that. We'll keep the name." We sat in silence for a few heartbeats, the weight of everything unspoken settling gently between us. Then he turned to me, his eyes pleading, his hands resting helplessly on his lap. "Elowen, I can never repay you, but please, would you consider something? I can't do this alone," he said. "I need someone I can trust to help raise her. Someone who's already loved her, held her, been there from the start." I stared at him. "Would you be Hope's nanny?" he asked. I left that day shaken. I went straight to Mrs. Kadiri again. Her gentle wisdom was my compass. She didn't hesitate. "Stay close to your child. You've already proven you can raise her. If this gives you stability, then do it." And so, just like that, I became Hope's nanny. It broke my heart knowing that Hope would never get to meet the woman who waited so patiently for her to be born into this world. Celine may not have carried her, but she had longed for her, prepared for her, planned a life around her. And now, she was just gone. No lullabies, no bedtime kisses, no mother's voice. That broke my heart. Not just for Celine, but for Hope too. I told myself I would do what was best for her. Every day, I fed her, bathed her, and told her stories. A year passed. Adrian slowly regained strength. He began walking again. He took over more duties with Hope and spent his days working from home. One evening, he called me to his study. "You've given us more than I can ever repay," he said. "But I want to try. I know you never went to university. I'd like to change that. Let me sponsor you. Let me help you build the life you paused to care for my daughter." I was speechless. He enrolled me in a nearby university, hired another nanny to assist when I was away, and gave me weekends with Hope. When I graduated, Adrian surprised me again. "There's a university in the US that offers a perfect program for you. I want to send you there for your master's. Full sponsorship." Tears rolled down my cheeks. I wanted to refuse. I didn't want to leave Hope. But he promised, "We'll video call every day. And when you're back, your place is here, if you still want it." I said yes. When I arrived in the US for my master's program, I used the opportunity to visit Mrs. Kadiri's daughters, who had once sent money to help me when my world collapsed. They welcomed me like family, and I quickly grew close to Vera, the youngest of them all. She had this soft strength, the kind of warmth that didn't need many words. We shared late-night talks, cooked meals together, cried over old memories, and laughed at silly shows. Before long, she became more than just Mrs. Kadiri's daughter. She became my sister. I even stayed with her throughout my time in school. There was no loneliness, no emptiness. Vera filled in the gaps I didn't know were still open. And through it all, Adrian never let me feel forgotten. He made sure I had everything I needed: tuition, supplies, comfort. And every days, he sent me pictures of Hope. Then came the day of my convocation. Vera held my hand as we walked out of the hall. "We're going to a quiet dinner nearby," she said casually. "Just a small celebration." I didn't expect much. But the moment I stepped into the restaurant, the lights dimmed. And there he was, Adrian, in a crisp suit, standing proudly with Hope's tiny hand tucked inside his. My breath caught. The entire room stilled as he walked toward me. He dropped to one knee. "Elowen," he said, his voice steady but full of emotion. "You came into my life during a storm. You became a mother when we abandoned you. You gave Hope a home when we left you with nothing. Let me spend the rest of my life with you." Then he looked into my eyes. "Will you marry me?" Hope beamed up at me, her eyes sparkling like mine. "Say yes, Miss Elowen," she whispered. Tears streamed down my face, and in that moment, every sleepless night, every silent tear, every forgotten dream found healing. "Yes," I said, through my trembling smile. And for the first time in a long time, it felt like the world was giving back everything it once took from me.